And when people didn't, it really changed the rules of the game and made things a lot more difficult. In 2008, sales in California increased almost 27%, 26.7%. And in fact, if you look here, we bottomed in terms of transactions in October of 2007, right? The market statewide, we started to see the weakness in the market in the fourth quarter of 2005. That's over 3 years ago. And if you look at kind of the magenta year, you can see those last 3 months, that was the first time that we started to see sales below where they were a year ago. You guys started to feel it a year earlier than that. Some of the coastal high-end areas didn't start to feel it until a year and a half ago. So again, I think one of the points to make with any client you talk to is there's a lot of regional disparity going on in California. You need me, we need to go local. Here's a look at the Sacramento. What I've done here is given you Sacramento, Bakersfield, Fresno, and Merced, and shown you the difference between January of 2009 in orange and January of 2008 next to it. So there just really just a breathtaking increase in the number of transactions. Here's another way of kind of looking at that. As an overview, we have in California a bifurcated market. It's a bipolar market. We have the distressed, REO, foreclosure part of the market, and then we have the moderate high and high end of the market. And what you will see in 2009 is a firming of prices in the distressed market. We're already starting to see that. We've got multiple offer situations throughout the Central Valley, and a continued gain in terms of sales. What you are seeing at the high end of the market in California is capitulation. We are seeing 1% to 2% declines in prices in these very tony high-end communities throughout the coastal part of California, partly due to financing issues. Tough to get a jumbo loan, down payment requirements, so on and so forth. But the other reality is this. The market in California is all connected. This bifurcation isn't permanent. There isn't a wall between the Sacramento market and the San Francisco market. They're all connected. And you cannot have 50% declines in prices over here and have flat prices over here. At some point, you're going to get some kind of evening out. And that is what's happening in the California market. So when you look at the statewide numbers, I mean, our forecast for prices in 2009 is that the statewide median is going to fall back another 19 to 20%. It's not happening in your market. It's happening in the much higher end areas, and we're seeing that actually play itself out already in the default rates of jumbo loans, which are starting to accelerate. So just in terms of kind of how this all played itself out, you know, we start with kind of the subprime, no down payment, adjustments, people get into trouble, right? And then it kind of ebbed out of housing. Now the entire economy is involved, and then it's affecting these markets over here because of the stock market and jobs and all that other stuff. So it's really, there are going to be so many great books coming out about this. I'm really excited. In fact, they say that the only people that are really happy right now are the economic historians, because this is such an amazing time to be living in. Okay. Sales boomed in January, and the median price was down 44.5% statewide. Here's a look at Bakersfield, Fresno, Merced, and Sacramento. The median was about 169,000, off about 34% compared to a year ago. Why did the median home price give such a false signal of strength in the market in 06 and 07 when transactions fell? Remember, we had a 44 peak to trough decline. So you had 2 years when the market contracted 20% in each of those 2 years. And yet, if I can go back one sec, the median home price was high and plateauing at that time. It didn't start to fall back until August, September of 2007. So what was going on? Well, it's really simple. The overall pool of transactions was contracting, but only in the distressed part of the market, only in the moderate and low end part of the market. And so because of the high and median home prices, the statewide median continued to look good, and the average was even worse. So look at the difference between August 07 and September 07. August 06 to August 07, the million or more market, the $1 million or more home market in California was only off 3.4%. The 5 to a million was off 32.5%. The 500 and below was off almost 28%. 1 month later, when you couldn't get a jumbo loan, the high end was off 26.4%, and that's when we started to see declines in the statewide median. So again, there's a lot of data out there. You know, take your pick, but understand the underlying assumptions of whatever variable you're using. What we've done here is taken the regions that we track in California, taken the median home price in December of 2008, and worked backwards and said, okay, when was the prior peak in that market? So if you go down right above that bold California is Sacramento. The median in December was 181. The prior peak was August of 05. All right, that was kind of the peak of the market here. Look down a little bit further to what happened. There's San Francisco. Their prior peak was May of 07, right? Over 2 years later. So it really, really varied throughout the state. It's been kind of interesting to watch. Okay, that green line is the share of million or more homes being sold. In the summer of 07, it was 15% of the market. Today, it's 5% of the market. The black line is the sales of homes priced $500,000 and below. In the summer of 07, it was 40% of the market. That's when you guys were going, where'd our sales go? Today, it's 82% of the market. So the shift has been absolutely stunning. Inventory's way down. This is the ratio of listings to sales. Had such a rapid increase in transactions that ratio is down. The other thing that's happened is affordability is way up for first-time buyers. You couldn't pay me enough to say this if it wasn't true. I can't imagine a better time for a first-time home buyer to get into the market. I can't. I really. Thank you. You're welcome. I mean, it's really the truth. You know, I can't imagine a better time to be looking for that retirement home that you've always been thinking of. I mean, it's just pretty phenomenal. So this just looks at the entry-level monthly house payment. This is using statewide data. You can do it locally and use your local numbers, but this peaked in the second quarter in mid-07. It was about $3,300. Today, it's less than half that. It's $1,600. So we have a very, very attractive market. Buyers know this. This is a survey we did of first-time buyers who actually purchased a home last year. Why did they buy? Well, you can see the responses. It's either, wow, prices are down and rates are low. This is a great time for me. What about sellers? Sellers are feeling the pain. We do an annual seller survey. We ask, what's behind your decision to sell? And what we found last year is that people were saying, I can't make my payment. I'm underwater. I need to save money. I need to get out. So a lot of pain on that side. All right, so let's see what's happening in Sacramento. We've already seen a little bit of this data, but let me just reiterate. January sales were up 108% compared to January of 2009. So you are off to an amazing start. I mean, I'm sorry that's so pale, but it's just a pretty stunning. Here's a look at the annual data. Sales were up in 2008, 88.9% compared to 2007. I mean, we have never seen a comeback like that. That's just absolutely remarkable.